All right, happy Friday. Welcome to the Power Chat series. We have Marc Anthony Montpetit here, a breaker, to talk a little bit more about the Battle of the Dragons and the IBF championships. So, how you doing, Marc Anthony?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Excited to have you on. So, first of all, this was a tournament in Atlantic City. So, you had to get down there from Canada. That's where you are right now, right?
Yeah, and had to haul our bricks all the way down there too, so it was a bit of a bit of a drive.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about just sort of all the behind the scenes stuff people maybe may not know about when it comes to breaking competitively. Let's though talk about the event. It was a tournament within a tournament within a tournament. There were multiple different things happening that weekend between seminars and competitions. What was your experience like at the Battle of the Dragons?
Battle of the Dragons is like a huge event, like exactly like you said. It's like a tournament within a tournament within a tournament. There's a lot of celebrities that are there, autographs, and it's a huge event down in Atlantic City. It's a huge hotel. It was a great experience.
This is not the first time that it's been on. Have you been to this event before?
I have. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was invited by a master Israel who started the International Breaking Federation to compete down there and to try to break a couple of world records, which I had succeeded back in the day. Master Israel passed away 2 years ago, and some another Master Paul took over his place and started it back up again with Mireille Polanco. I'm pretty sure I'm killing her name, but they started it back up, and they invited me again this year to try and to compete in breaking a few world records.
And you were successful, not to give away the
Four
lead.
out of five. 4 out of 5. We went for 5 records, and I was able to do 4 out of 5.
All right, tell us exactly though. All of us with a martial arts background, I'm sure have had some experience and exposure to breaking, but what you're doing is on just an entire different level. Paint us a picture about what the events are that you broke the records in.
Well, I compete mostly in power breaking events, which is it's basically the most amount broken with one strike. You have the open events where more of a show where you can get some jumping and more spectacular kicks, which usually you don't get the higher numbers. I mostly compete in the power events, which is power concrete, power wood. Um, there's many different organizations. You have the USBA, you have the IBF, you have the Kokoro. They're all different organizations that specialize in power breaking.
Yeah, coming from a taekwondo background, I think I've seen more of the freestyle sort of breaking where you'll
Yeah, I
have
come
like
from a Taekwondo background also. However,
okay.
getting older, my athletic prowess, we'll say, gets a little bit less. So after 5 knee operations too, I also decided to give it a more of a try in the power breaking divisions.
Yeah. Now, what were the four divisions that you broke the record in?
Well, we did
Congratulations.
a team record, team of three, which is one man over 50, one man under 40, and one woman over 50. Our goal was to break 25 bricks, and we were able to get up to 29.
Congratulations.
So it was
Now,
one strike per person.
okay, I get it. Now, were you able to experience any of the other things at the event, or were you pretty locked in on?
I was pretty locked in. I gotta be very honest with you. I had three other world record, well, four other world records that I attempted, three others that I did. I did one with power breaking on my knees. I also tried one that was a record of Master Israel. He set a pretty high number, so we were pretty much locked into what we were doing. I was able to walk around a little bit, and there was a lot of people that came up to us because they're very interested in power breaking and what we were doing. So I was able to see a little bit, but not maybe as much as I could have.
Yeah, would you return to this event?
Definitely, definitely. It's how can you say it's a multicultural thing because a lot of times I'm mostly involved in point fighting and the sport karate. These events, they have a lot more cultural style to it. You'll get a lot more Chinese. You'll get a lot more Chinese styles. You'll get a lot more styles that maybe in the sport karate system we don't get around to seeing as much.
For sure. Yeah, it's like you get to really experience that open side of it and
They had a
the
lot of masters down there from China, from Japan, from so like I said, more of a multicultural, more of a martial arts aspect instead of the sport aspect of it. If I'm saying it correctly, I don't want to insult anybody at all, but usually when you're in the sport karate, it's mostly the katas, the sport karate katas, the sport karate fighting. This was mostly a traditional aspect of the
yeah,
mix.
like I was thinking getting back to the roots of each
Old school,
style.
old school, old
Yeah.
school. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so you mentioned that you came from Canada, had to, bring all of your stuff down. What got you into breaking? You said, after your body started to change a little, but what really was it that made you fall in love with it?
What made me fall in love with breaking is I can do what a lot of people can't. And I tried it off. I competed, I believe, for the first time back in 2003 or four at a USBA event in Albany, New York. And then I saw it on TV where U.S. Open was on ESPN, or back in the day, I believe it was Wide World of Sports. And I just said, "Wow, that's something I think I could compete in and do." And I've been working at it ever since, and made my way up to the top.
What does it take to be a good breaker?
Dedication,
Hmm.
dedication, and a really hard head. And how can I say? If you do 10, you want to 10 bricks, you want to on to the next 11. If you do 11, it's on to the next is 12.
An
Uh,
insatiable hunger.
it's the same thing as any sport karate event where if you win one, you want to win two. If you win three, you want to win four. If you win katas, you want to win another one. You want to win the grands. You want to win world championships. You always want to go further, and that's what I think martial artists all do in every sport that we do, every aspect of the art.
Yeah, for sure. What's the most common question you get? I mean, some of those videos go viral on TikTok and social media. What's the
Yeah,
most common question you get?
is it fake?
Okay. What's your
I think
response?
that's the biggest question we get. Is it fake what you do? Are the bricks pre-broken? Are the boards pre-broken? There's a lot of comments too that come out about that. Oh, it's
Mhm.
fake. They're pre-broken. I would have to say that's the biggest question we get.
And how do you respond to those? Basically challenging what you're doing, the core of it.
I put out a challenge back to them where I say, put your stack of bricks next to mine and let's see if it's fake.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of ignorance on social media when it comes and it just seems so um as you said, most people, the majority of people cannot do this. So it's hard for people to understand those who can.
Well, I think the majority of people don't. It's the pain aspect because you get to a certain amount of bricks where it's like, mostly I think anybody could do maybe one or two bricks or a couple of boards. If you have your, like you say, your taekwondo breakdown, I'm sure you've broken a couple of boards before.
Mhm.
But when you start to get up into those really big numbers, that's where the people think that, oh, we're superhuman, and we're no. It just has a lot to do with training, conditioning your body. We do a lot of training to avoid injury, and just keep trying and keep trying. I mean, just this past year at U.S. Open, usually I'm in the between the 11 to 14 range of breaks. I did a terrible break and I just got 8. It happens, and if you're not a power breaker out there, it's exactly like sport karate, where you could one day you do a really bad kata, or one day you didn't fight as well as you should. Breaking is pretty much the same thing, except we don't get a. It's everything is round up in 10 seconds.
Yeah. How have you seen the sport grow or change over time?
We've gotten a lot of exposure as of late. What's really, really, really cool is Point Fighter Live has been giving us a lot of exposure. We've been in a lot of big power breakers. Have been in a lot of big events like the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open gives us the most
Mm-hmm.
exposure. I believe the U.S. Open is run by the USBA, where they are the directors of the ISKA, which is the highest point in breaking.
Okay.
So the sport has grown a lot as far as the numbers. Also, if I go back 8, 10 years, 10 bricks was a lot, and now 10 bricks is starting to become thing of the past, where you got to be in the double digits to even think of getting in the top three to get a podium.
Wow. It's crazy. It's like any sport. And I was talking about this with someone else just about about football, but like or basketball, the envelope gets pushed so quickly, so fast, right? You have to keep up
I
or you
think it's the training. If you ask me, it's the training. The training techniques have evolved. I mean, back in the day, football players used to work all day and then go play their game at night. Now
Mhm.
it's a full time thing where obviously there's millions of dollars involved, but the training, the discipline, the desire, a lot of things have changed. We've just gotten smarter also. The techniques have just gotten smarter.
Yeah.
Look
Yep.
at point karate. If you go back to point karate,
Hmm.
that's my background with sport karate. If you go back 20 years, the speed is nowhere near the speed that it is today. So everything evolves, and breaking is no exception.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It's awesome, and I can't wait to see God what happens in 5 years. What's the standard going to be?
What happens in 5 years? I'm training a student right now who is being able to break the numbers I'm breaking now. I've been in karate breaking for 20 something years,
Hmm.
and just the fact that I gave him my knowledge, he's almost doing the numbers that I can do now.
Wow.
So in 5 years, who knows? Sky's the limit.
Now, you said that you'd be back for this event. We're kind of sandwiching the two, the multiple different things that were happening this weekend in Atlantic City. But what's the biggest point of feedback you would have for all the promoters?
Let's try to get some prize money for power breaking also,
Okay.
because a lot of people talk about it's expensive. It's expensive going around in all the different cities, and my divisions cost me anywhere from $700 to $800 to compete on a weekend. That's just competing because we have to pay for our materials.
Yeah, that's another point. I mean,
Yeah.
you have weapons that will last you years or, at least a season.
Your
But
point fighting gear will a couple $100, and then you're okay for a little while.
yeah.
Breaking is certain events cost us. If I enter 4 or 5 events and I break stacks of 10 to 15 at $6, $7 US a board or a brick,
Hmm.
make the calculations. So it would be cool if we had a little bit more. I think maybe with a little bit more exposure. It started with Point Fighter Live. He's starting to be putting out some bursts for us. So I mean, it started. It started. And
Yeah.
involve it. Just get us more involved. And people like breaking. People like to watch breaking.
Yeah, we sure
So
do.
it would be cool if we were involved in more and more sport karate competitions.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the push. So, um, Mark Anthony, thank you so much for coming on to the Power Chat
Thank you.
series. Congratulations on breaking your record again,
Thank you
and
very
I
much.
can't wait to see more of you and your students and your team doing
On
great
to the
things.
next one. On to the
On to the
next.
next
On to
one.
the next one. Yes. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right.